Hi, everybody, and welcome to Franchise Sports Podcast. This is Matt in the studio with Bray, Zach, and Cam. We're going to be talking the trades in the NBA that have been going on, and we're going to go right into the business. So, we're going to first recap the trade that brought DeMarcus Cousins to the Pelicans. I know we have our episode on it. We're just going to quickly go around the room and share a couple more thoughts on it. Zach, we're going to start with you.
Even though the Pelicans did lose recently, I do want to say that looks like DeMarcus Cousins is fitting in pretty well. Did have a pretty good night, so maybe a few more games, get some chemistry going. Maybe the Pelicans end up being a playoff team.
Brett, what are your thoughts real quick on DeMarcus Cousins joining the team?
I was actually pretty steamed about that, as you saw in the episode that we posted. DeMarcus Cousins, yes, as you said, he did put up about 30 points. They just need a good shooter. They can't just rely on them two down low. If they get a good guard, the team will definitely be playoff worthy.
And Cam, we're going to share your thoughts before mine.
I think that they did good together, two good big men, but if they get a shooter, like Bray said, they'll be good, and maybe they could do something in the playoffs.
DeMarcus Cousins, a great addition to the Big Easy. Him and Anthony Davis are going to be doing very good together. They have Holiday, great guard. All they need is that shooting guard that they lost and healed, but if they could regain it, it won't be a bad trade. Losing Omri Caspi, they had to waive him since he broke his thumb, I think. He broke something. I think it was his thumb, something in his hand.
Yeah.
So they had to get rid of him, and that was a disappointer. He was playing good, but we're doing this good trade, bringing in DeMarcus, and we're going to move on. We're not going to do all the trades, just like the more popular ones. So the next trade that we're going to recap is the trade that brought Roy Hibbert. The trade that moved Roy Hibbert. The Nuggets traded their 2019 second-round pick to the Bucks for Roy Hibbert. That's like the most mediocre trade we're going to go down to. We're not going to be talking anything other than... That's like the worst type we're going to be going to. So, Zach, what are your thoughts on Roy Hibbert?
All I'm going to say is I didn't even know about Roy Hibbert this year until this trade. What has he been doing recently? I know he used to be good when he was on the Pacers, but I don't know. It looks like he's a little washed up at this point. So I don't think he's going to be a major factor for the Nuggets.
I remember watching Roy Hibbert play on the Pacers. Was he an all-star ever or no?
I believe he was at least once.
Guy used to be an all-star. Now he was on the Hornets before. He just keeps moving, and it's disappointing to see a guy who used to be that good just ruin his career. So it's a decent addition for the Nuggets for a second-round pick. You can't lose this. A second-round pick for Hibbert. It's a better deal to get Hibbert, I guess, but it's nothing special. Bray, what are your thoughts?
Roy Hibbert, he's getting old. He should honestly stop playing in the NBA at this point. He just got traded for a second-round pick. That's when you know that you're freaking not as good as he used to be. And he should honestly just drop out right now.
Cam, I'm with you on your thoughts.
I think that getting Roy Hibbert wasn't bad for a second-round pick because you could just get a scrub in the draft and then they won't end up good. And getting a vet like Hibbert would be a nice addition to the team.
Okay, now we're going to move up to the Raptors trade with the Suns. Toronto receiving P.J. Tucker, and Phoenix would receive Jared Solinger, who they would waive, I think yesterday, a 2017 and 2018 second-round draft pick. So, since they waived Jared Solinger, what are your guys' thoughts on this trade now? It's P.J. Tucker for 2 second-round picks. Zach, what do you think?
I believe that the Suns actually might have won this trade. P.J. Tucker was he's a little overrated. His defense is pretty good, but he doesn't make much of a factor on offense. So I feel like it was an okay trade for the Raptors. Don't get me wrong, but it's just that the Suns did acquire 2 second-round picks, and you could get a decent player out of those second-round picks. Also, Jared Solinger wasn't that bad, I know, even though they waived him. But still, I just feel like that the Suns got a little too much for P.J. Tucker.
Bro, what are your thoughts on P.J. joining the Raptors?
The Raptors, they probably should have went for someone better than P.J. Tucker. if you're gonna make a trade, try to make a trade for a good player like Roy Hibbert. You don't freaking get a trade for Roy Hibbert on your team. When he was on the Pacers, try to trade for him. But as you said, get back on the topic. I really don't think it was like a smart trade on the Raptors part, just because they're giving up too much for freaking PJ Tucker.
Cam, one with you on this one.
I'm gonna have to agree with Zach on this one. They gave up way too much for PJ Tucker. Jared Sullinger is like almost as good as Tucker, and giving up 2 second-round picks was really costly.
Okay, now we're going to move on to the 76ers and the Mavericks trade. Philadelphia receiving Andrew Bogut, Justin Anderson, and a 2018 first-round pick for Nerlens Noel. Zach, what are your thoughts on this? We'll start with you again.
I feel like that Nerlens Noel, actually, he's a pretty good young player, so maybe he can actually make an impact. So I kind of like this trade out of the Mavs. I mean, Nerlens Noel, he's still really young, and it looks like he's getting better throughout the years. So he could end up being a pretty good player. So I kind of like this for the Mavs.
I like Nerlens Noel, man out of Kentucky, but Bogut could fill his footsteps in at center a little. And you're giving up a first-round pick, and you're really not that good of a team. So that could be a top 15 pick. And would you trade Bogut in the top 15 pick for Noel? That's what you got to question yourself right now.
Mm-hmm.
Bray, what are your thoughts? You agreeing with me, or are you more towards Zach right now?
Probably leaning towards you a little. You are not really that special of a team, as you said. You're giving up probably a costly first-round pick. You can probably get someone better. And I really think that they should have thought about this before they actually put out the trade.
I do also want to mention how Andrew Bogut was waived, and he either might join the Cavs or the Rockets.
We'll get more into the the Deron Williams Bogut later in the episode, but yes, Bogut will buy out his contract, and he is going to leave the team. Is it me, or is Bogut is like Zaza, like the new Bogut now in the Warriors?
Yeah, I believe it is kind of like him. I mean, the thing is, Bogut is just, I mean, he has to join like a good team. It's either the Cavs or the Rockets.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
What are your thoughts on the Noel picks Bogut swap?
I think it was good to get Noel. He's young talent. If you give him a chance on a good team, he'll show you what he has. And Bogut is not really good. So I think it was a good pick to get Noel.
I just want to go back to what you said. You give him a shot on a good team. Are you calling the Mavericks a good team?
It could be if they have Noel leading their team.
Okay, we'll go to the next trade. Thunder trade with the Bulls. Taj Gibson, Doug McDermott, and a 2018 second-round pick for Anthony Morrow, Cameron Payne, and Joffrey Gavarni or something like that. I don't even know what his name is. I think the trade itself speaks for itself, but Zach, we'll go to you anyway. What are your thoughts?
I think the Thunder actually have won this trade. I mean, Taj Gibson is actually not doing bad at all this year. I mean, 11.7 rebounds, that's pretty decent. Also, they're getting Doug McDermott, who's a pretty good shooter, and a second-round pick for Cameron Payne, who's like not really doing that spectacular. I mean, he was a backup to Westbrook, you could add, but he didn't really get much playing time. And Anthony Morrow, I mean, they're just getting like mediocre players. Like, I don't think that's helped the Bulls out at all.
Doug McDermott, a good young shooter. Taj Gibson, a decent big man, and a second-round pick. Why would they give up that much for Anthony Morrow, an okay reserve?
Cameron Payne.
Joffrey's a no-name. And Cameron Payne. I mean, why does Chicago need Cameron Payne? Does Wade need someone to do handshakes with now? I just don't understand it. I don't know why they'd give up McDermott, their young talent, and these other Gibson and a pick for these. That was just a terrible trade, I think, for the Chicago. Brett, what are your thoughts?
Yes, that was a horrible trade for Chicago. Doug McDermott, a good young shooter. Taj Gibson, he's okay. I mean, not even that. Payne, he's really not that good. I don't even know what the hell you're looking for. You're trading for the rest of these, like, scrubby guys. And then you're just handing him a pick for it. That's just, like, bait right there.
Cam, your take?
I think that the Bulls just got a bunch of scrubs in this return and gave away their good shooter and young talent, and they just gave away one of their good big men.
Okay, now we're going to move over to what Zach was talking about a little earlier, all these players that are leaving. We'll start with Solinger. Waving Solinger, was that smart or not smart? We're going to go around the room. Zach.
I don't think waving Jared Solinger was that smart. Just because Jared Solinger, he's still pretty young, and he's also a pretty decent, probably a little below average big man, but it's not like the guy's terrible. Like, he was pretty good for the Celtics. I mean, he's a guy who you kind of want on your team. He's a good reserve, so I don't think it was that smart to waive Jared Solinger.
I'm not going to lie. I think that was all BS coming out of your Celtics fan mind right there. I think Solinger was a player with a lot of hopes. Where'd he go, to Syracuse? Was he Syracuse? Where'd he go to college? I'm not sure. Either way, though.
Ohio State.
Either way, he came out of Ohio State. He had a big name. He had a lot of weight on his shoulder, and he just couldn't carry it. He didn't perform for the Celtics. They got rid of him. And face it, nobody wants him. He's not doing what he should be. He's not performing, and I don't blame them. Brad, what are your thoughts on waving Solinger?
I think that was smart on their part. Solinger, he's not really, like, too good of a big man. Like, he's not really some superstar who you're like, wow, like, why did that just happen? It's not like that Cousins trade. It's like, why the hell would you just trade off those scrubs for Cousins? I really don't think that it was really, like, useful for them. It was just, like, stupid.
Okay, Cam?
I think that if you're gonna trade for a guy, you should at least give him a chance and not just waive him. Because then why would you just get him for nobody and just give him up like that?
Okay, and now we're going to move on to Andrew Bogut. Getting rid of him, smart, well, buying out his contract, then going to waive him. Was that smart or was that not smart? Bray, we're going to start with you this time.
Bogut, he's not really that good. On the Warriors, it was basically like these superstars, and then you just saw Bogut in the starting lineup somehow. He's really not that good. I mean, they're acting like it's that big of a deal. It really wasn't. He's not some superstar center.
Bogut's okay. I think the real reason they waived him is because they got like 90 big men in Philadelphia. So I don't see why they need another one. They got Noel out. Why would they bring another one in? So I think that's why they did it. They just had a trade for Bogut just to even out the big men on Dallas. But Philly doesn't need any big men. That's probably why they just got rid of him, just so they don't get in. They need some more guards. That's probably why they got rid of him, just so they could lose some depth, just so they could sign a little more guards. Zach, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I would have to agree with that. I mean, Bogut, he's only averaging about 3 points this year. So, I mean, he's not really much of a scorer, and the Sixers do have some pretty decent big men already. So it's like they don't even need Bogut. I mean, they already have Okafor, they have Embiid, a whole bunch of young guys. Bogut's pretty old, so they don't really just want to. They just don't even need him.
Okay, and that leaves one. Cam, what are your thoughts?
I would have to agree with that, but instead of trying to trade for Bogut, they should have tried to get a guard so that they don't have to just waste him and drop him.
Speaking about guards from Dallas, Deron Williams waived, and he reportedly really wants to play with Cleveland. What are your thoughts on Deron possibly going to Cleveland? Zach, what are your thoughts?
I think that he actually will go to Cleveland, and I don't think he's a bad backup point guard. So I like this move out of well, it's good for Deron and it is good for Cleveland. Duran could be a playmaker. We know he's obviously not in his prime and he's getting a little old. But he's a good veteran and a pretty good playmaker. So I kind of like this move, getting a good backup point guard.
I exactly agree with that. LeBron wanted another point guard, and that's exactly what he's getting. He's getting a veteran point guard in Deron Williams. I think that about wraps it up. What more do you got to ask for? You're getting exactly what you wanted. A backup veteran point guard, so you don't got to play point guard when Kyrie sits the bench a couple of shifts. Deron, smart move on his part, ending his career with a ring possibly. And I don't know, this is a great move. Good move for Cleveland, good move for Deron. Brad, what are your thoughts?
Yes, I have to agree. As you said, LeBron did state that he does need another playmaker on the team after Irvin is like playing all these minutes out there. He's gonna need a rest, and just getting this vet point guard out there, it's just a smart move.
Well, it's not even Irving, it's LeBron. Is 33 years old, and he's about to lead the league in minutes played. That's crazy for a 33-year-old. Cam, what are your thoughts?
I would have to agree with Bray. It was smart getting a vet at a Deron Williams. He could be a playmaker that they needed, and he could get a ring.
I also do want to mention, Deron Williams is averaging 13 points and 7 assists. Like, why do you waive him? I mean, that's pretty decent stats. So I just don't really know what the Mavs were thinking by waiving a pretty good player out of Deron Williams.
Okay, now we're going to end this episode with our last signing. My favorite team, the New Orleans Pelicans, bringing in a veteran guard after their 20 turnover performance against the Rockets. And that guard is the one and only Jarrett Jack, veteran point guard from the Brooklyn Nets. Zach, what are your thoughts on the addition?
I feel like the addition was pretty good, but, I mean, Jarrett Jack is not really a difference maker.
It's a 10-day contract.
I know, but it's like, it's nothing really special. It's just like, it's not going to change the team at all.
Well, you give the kid 10 days. He performs, you give him another one. That reminds me, we got one more after this one, but he performs, you give him another one. He does bad, you could just waive him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hurting anyone.
Never hurt anyone.
It's just like, it's Jarrett Jack. Like, do we really have to cover that?
Bring up his stats right now. They'd impress you more than you think. Bray, we'll give you your thoughts.
Yes, I have to totally agree with Matt. They really do need that guard up there, so they're just going to try Jarrett Jack. If he does bad, they'll just drop him. If they do good, they'll freaking sign him for more.
Cam, what are your thoughts?
I would have to agree with Bray. It was, giving him a 10-day contract, what's the worst that could happen? If he does bad, which he probably will, then they'll just drop him.
Okay, and now speaking of 10-day contract after 10-day contract, Williams, the second pick behind Kyrie Irving, Derek Williams given a second 10-day contract. Will he end up on the team by the end of the season? Will they sign for the rest of the year, and will he be signed for years to come? Zach, what are your thoughts?
I think that he has actually performed pretty well. So maybe they give him, they see how he does in the next 10-day contract, obviously. If he does well, you know what, he should be signed. He earned it. He passed the test, so let's just sign him. I'd probably sign him for about 2 years. I mean, Derek Williams is not really like a huge difference maker, but maybe he could be a decent role player. Maybe give him like a 2-year contract, see what he does.
Bray, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would have to agree with most of that. He's performing quite a bit good. I mean, but you're not going to sign him for 2 years. You're probably just going to sign him for the rest of the year, only because it's 10 days. They'll probably play a couple of games in that. If he does good, we have to see if he's going to continue those stats.
Cam, we'll end with you.
If he does good and performs in the 10 days, I would sign him to 2 years maybe. Like Yogi Ferrell, he performed out of the 10 days and they signed him for 2 years. So I would do the same.
Okay, and that will wrap up today's Trade Deadline podcast. You could look in further in the week. We're going to be posting our trades that we wanted to see happen. Please subscribe if you haven't already. You can like this video, comment what you want us to talk about, and we'll see you next time.